Alrighty, hey, how's everyone doing? Let's see here. What we're going to do today is going to build out a relatively simple opt-in page. Okay, I just want to show people around the editor kind of a couple tricks to like nesting rows and borders around things, and a little trickery in order to kind of just give your page a little pop. So this is going to be what we're going to do is I have an idea in my head it's going to be a plain simple site here. We're going to do a VSL, so it's going to have a heading, subheading. We'll do a video on this side. We'll have an opt-in box over here, and maybe 2 rows down here, or maybe a row of a list of features or something to that effect. So we'll have heading, subheading, a VSL, an opt-in right next to each other, and then a list of features. So let's start there. And what I'll do is I'll kind of build onto this page as we go, and you can learn a lot about what the editor can do and all that good stuff. So to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to take a row, and we are going to drop it in. So I'm going to drop in my 1-column row. This one, I'm going to change the background settings. So I'm going to click on the little little wrench icon on the row, and as you'll see, you get the little wrench icon right there. So on the row settings, what I'd like to do is come into the background color, and we're going to do a gradient, and we'll do a linear gradient of kind of a blue. That's kind of a light blue. Let's go a little darker. Let's go like there, and we'll go even a darker green blue over there. So then we'll hit save. Now I'll also go back to the row, and in here we have a full width, and we also have a fixed width for the content width. So you could have a row that doesn't have a full width. Okay, you can do a fixed width row. It won't extend all the way to the edges. You'll get just blank space there. So what I did was I expanded it all the way to the edges, and anything inside that row is going to be within this 1100 pixel box. Okay, so from here, what I want to do is we need a heading, a subheading, and then we need a double box underneath in order to do a 2-column row, in order to do the VSL as well as the opt-in page. So what we'll do is we'll start with dropping in a module, and I will do a text editor module, and the text editor will say this is your headline, and we'll save that for now. We will also drop in another text box, and we will say this is your interesting sub headline. We'll save that for now. Then we'll come over here and we'll take a row. What we want to do is we want to drop in 2 columns. So as you see here, I can drop in 2 columns into this 1 column. So now I've nested 2 columns into this 1 column. Okay, in here I want to do a video, so I can add a video modules. I'll plop a video. That is that, and then I will also drop an opt-in form into this side. The opt-in form is going to ask me for a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to select anything for myself right now, so it's all good. And we'll take out the phone number and all that good stuff. And We'll also take this and kind of squeeze it over here so the video is nice and big and the opt-in is nice and small. Now, what I'd like to do is we'll center these. We'll hit the center button right here. And the reason I use text boxes, and I'll show you in just a second, is because I can do things like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say my style. My text is going to be white, 6 Fs. You can also add the colors to your palette. So there's color presets. This little button over here will add them to your color presets so that when you hit the color presets, there's all my different colors that I normally use and that a couple other people use as well. So that is how to do that. Then we will go here and we will say color white. There is a white in here somewhere. There it is. And we will save that. And, you know, you can do these all in any order, really. I'm just, as the demo, I just want to, show you guys exactly what you can do. So I want to change my font on this one. And I'm going to make my family Oswald. Oswald is kind of a cool font to do these opt-ins in. And we'll do semi-bold, and we'll boost it up to, let's see, 40. That's a pretty good size. So let's see here. So what I was talking about the using a text box rather than a heading is that you can actually come in here to the general settings tab on the text editor, and I can select like one word, and I can go ahead and change the color. I'm going to change it to yellow. Okay. Now something like with headlines, you can do this. Unfortunately, it's a little more technical. Like, this is just the easy way. So giving you all the easiest ways to do this, and this is how I do everything in here. We'll go style, font, because I like the easy way. Keep it simple, stupid is what they say. So we're gonna go 20, maybe 30. We'll make that also like maybe not a whole bold, but a medium. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, as you see, like the two headings here are spaced far apart. So what I'll do is I'll crush those up. Okay. Now the way to crush those up is by changing the margins on each of these text editor boxes. Text editor modules, and you do that by going into the text editor and hitting advanced, and you see here the margins are set to 20, 20, 20, 20. So I'll leave the 20 at the top. The 20 at the right and left don't really matter because we're in a single column there, and the 20 on the bottom is what I want to change to 0, and you'll see that heading comes up closer. So I want to do the same thing here, and I want to change the top, because I don't want the top to be so there we go. Now we have a nice heading there. Now, in order to split this up a little, maybe I want to do, maybe I'd want a little break up there, maybe a line, okay? So what I'll do is I will say save to this, and I will drop in a separator. And the separator, what I'll do is I'll say, actually that gray looks pretty good. The width, I'll say 50. We also need to center it. The line is center. So we'll leave it like that for now. In the top and bottom, what I want to do is I want to take out the margins here by clicking the advanced tab as I did. And I will leave that margin like that. So I'll just take out the top. I'll leave the 20 at the bottom. And now everything fits in there. So now we have these two columns. Okay. We got our opt-in box and our video. Now I want the video to kind of stand out a little. I don't want it to just be flat on the page. Now, if I click on the video and go to the general tab, normally you would see, if you were in a column, or let's say, you would see something with borders or some kind of radiuses and things like that. It doesn't exist in a video, but that's okay. We have the ability to do this. Okay, it's just a matter of thinking outside the box Now, the video has been put inside a column. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the column settings. So here, adjust my video settings. As you see the little tab come up, video settings. If you click on this button or hover over it, it says edit column. Okay, so edit column, I'm going to adjust the column settings. And what I want to do is I want to add a background color. So the background color is going to be a color. The background color is going to be white. Put in 7. Put in 7. As you see here, now I have a border around my video. Okay. Now, what I can do with this column now is I can come in here to this little, 3-dot menu, hit the Advanced button, and the Advanced gives me margins, right, left, bottom, etc. Gives me padding. All right, this is good. But it also, if I go to Style, what it will do is I will have the ability to put a border or radius and shadow. Now, I already have my border on my video. I don't need another border. So what I want to do is let's change the radius, and I'm going to go, let's call it 20, 20, 20, and 20. Go 20s across the board. You can also go here to link all the values and easily put in 30, and that's 30 around the board. Or I can go 50. Whoops. I want 3050, but I can go 50. But for now, we'll do 20. That's a nice little round box. Now, I don't particularly like the border so thick. So in order to change the border being so thick, the video automatically comes with a 20 padding, a 20 margin all the way around it. So what we're going to do is we're going to click back on the video. We're going to go into the Advanced tab. We're going to go Advanced, and you see here margins 20, 20, 20, 20. Okay, well, I'm going to change that. I'm going to link them first, my link values. And then I'm going to change them all to 0 or 10. Let's say 10. 10's a little 15. Let's go 10. Let's go 10, and let's take the radius out of the column so much, because I don't like the 20 is probably a bigger radius than I really want. So what we'll do is come back to column settings. We'll go into Style, and we'll come down here and adjust the radius again, and we'll call that 10. And that's a nice, beautiful box for me. Like, this is just my preference. That's what I like for a border. So I'm going to hit Save. Now we have our video. We also have our login box over here, our opt-in. Now, the opt-in, I can do the same thing. I can edit the column. I can hit the column settings. And I can take it and change the background color. Background color is right here in Style. In the background color, we'll do some kind of gray. So in my color presets, let's find just a slightly off white. Okay, that's good. And we'll take the column settings, and we'll also put the radius and shadow on them, because we don't want to have square boxes over here and rounded boxes over here. So we'll do radius and shadow, and we will link our values, and we will say 10 so that they look the same. You'll also see that this column is right now against this column. So we want to put a little tiny bit of margin in there so that it looks separated. So we go into the columns, Advanced Settings, and we will say up the top here, we will say margins on the left-hand side will be 20. And that's probably even a little too much. Yeah, sure, 10. So we're going to hit Save. Now we have our opt-in as well as our video. What we can do now is we can say Edit Column, because you see how these things are kind of jacked up. This one's really low, and that one's, there's a big space down here. We could put in some kind of list box down here, but we want to have some kind of heading in here that says something. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say Style, and there's an Equalize Heights. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say yes, equalize my height. Now you see that gets extended, and I'm going to press Save. Now you can also vertical align center, so that comes down. You can vertical alignment top, or you can vertical alignment bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say top for now, and we may get back. This is all just by the seat of my pants here. I don't really have like a huge plan. It's just like kind of an idea in my head as to what in the world I want this to be. So up here, I want to have some kind of call to action that says what to do. So I'm going to take a text editor, and I'm going to drop a text editor in here. Now, as you see, I have my text editors right here. So I can say, sign up here and get this great thing. All right, so what we'll do is we will take that, and maybe it'll look better centered, and we will adjust the style, and we will call the color a little darker gray. So I'm going to go into my color presets, and I'm going to select maybe a little darker gray. Maybe this one will work. That's kind of the same exact thing that was there. But if I go to color presets, maybe this one's probably good. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we'll have that like that. We will also adjust the font. And the font again will be Oswald, just for simplicity's sake. Okay, sign up for this great thing. We want that obviously a little more pronounced, not medium, not that pronounced. Sign up for this great thing, excellent. And we will change the font size. Our subheading was at 30, I believe, so let's change this to 24. Okay, that's probably halfway decent. So here we go. So now we have a call to action in here. That's, there's obviously the subscribe button, which is a call to action, but you really want to tell people exactly what in the world's going on when they sign up and give them a reason to sign up. So there we go. We have our subscribe, opt-in, we have our VSL, we have our headline, our subheadline, and our separator in there, which is actually right there. So there's our separator. Now we want to I wanted to add some kind of list down the bottom, maybe just like a checklist of what happens when you sign up, okay? What you get with the product. Or with the free product. Let's see here. So let's go to our lists. We'll search on list, and it's the info list right here. I'm going to drag an info list in, and actually I'm going to put it down here for the hell of it. There we go. So in this one, what you do is you set everything on a per line basis. So each icon can be set, so you can have like a list of red X's and then green check marks, like this is not what it is, this is what it is. It's a lot more flexible to do it with this list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the list item, and down here you'll see a description. Okay, so with these lists you actually have a name of an element and then a description. So as you see here, you'll see the name of the element and then enter description text here. So we don't want to use you could use the actual description, but in order to do even a normal list, what I do is I just simply take out the title, and I only use the description text here. There's also the ability to add links to each one of these, which is nice. So, when you do put a title in, you can do that. So in the description area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is a test. And, oops, I typed in the wrong place. What I'm going to do is in the description area, I'm going to say this is a test. And I'm going to hit save. Now, from there, I can add, as you see, there's no icons yet. I'm going to show you exactly how to add the icons. So we're going to edit the list item. And within here, you have an icon image tab. So the icon image tab, I can go into icon, I can do a photo, I can do a custom character. I don't think that was even in there before, but yep, you can do it. So I'm going to select an icon, and we're going to do the same exact check mark that we did before. And we're going to say the icon color is going to be some kind of green, probably around no, no, probably around there. So that's a decent green. We can select the, bingo, way too big. So what we're going to do is we're going to say general icon size. Okay, so the list items, you're going to lay out the list items. You're going to come into general. It's going to make sure that all your icons are the same size. So I'm going to change it back to, what did we have before on that last list? It was 30, I believe. So there we go, 30. Now you'll also see this line down here. That's just a connector line, and that's, I don't know why it's on by default, but it is. So we just turn it off in here. It says show connector. So we can say no. You can also change the color on the connector if you'd like. So that's that. So I will say okay to that. And then I'll come in here. That was just a save. So what I wanted to do is go into the next list item. And we will say down in the description, this is the second line. And I will hit save again. I will also go in there and select my icon. And the image type is going to be icon. I'm going to select the icon as a, let's see if we have an X anywhere. We do have a bunch of various, let's go with this one. And we're going to go icon color is going to be some kind of red, not that deep a red. Maybe something like, maybe the same as around where we caught that green. So there's our red, and we're going to hit save. And you'll see now the red comes up. So you can say not, good things, bad things. Let's see here. You can, my next one, which is number 3. Whoops, I'm going to save that. Let's go to number 3. I thought I clicked on number 3, but who knows? So I'm going to skip over the title. I'm also going to go in here. I'm going to say this is the third line. Hit save. I always save things more often than I probably need to, but when you start using the editor a lot, you will learn to save constantly. So always save your stuff. Let's see here. I'm going to select my icon again. Select it, and we're going to go with maybe another green check mark. Check mark, and we're going to make it hopefully the same color. And these are all, this comes down to selecting presets, right? So your color presets, you want to get in the habit of, when you're working on a page, get all those colors in there. Every single time you use a color, you pick a color out of this box, add it, because then it'll be in the whole entire page. It'll be the same exact color across the board. So just a little tip. And let's see here. Our icon color is that, and we're gonna do, let's see, back to general. I think that's all we need there. And there's our third line. So now I want to adjust the actual fonts. You have the font for the title, as well as the font for the description. So we are not using a title in this situation. So we're going to come down here and we're going to go into the description, and we're going to say our font family is going to be Poppins, and we will hit. We don't want it thin. We want it more medium. That's even a little too big. We'll say normal. Normal's good. We also want to change the font color. If we scroll down a little more, you see the font color. And that's all good. Now we can do let's see here. We want to change the spacing between each one is what we want to do. So space between two elements. We're going to change that to 10. You'll see that crush up a little. So that's pretty good. So we can save that. So that's decent. Now what we're going to do also is we're going to take this and we're going to say advanced, and we're going to add a margin over here on the left-hand side. Now, I'm guessing that it's going to be, what did we say before, 380? So 380 gets it relatively close to center. So maybe even 400. Okay, that's relatively close to center. So we'll say, save there. Now, the other thing I was talking about again was the ability to change these colors and things like that inside the line. So if I come to my list item, let's say I want to change the second line to maybe bold and yellow. What I can easily do is come into edit list item, and without any CSS coding or HTML coding or whatever, I can say select this line. I can do the color drop down. And if you don't have the color drop down, normally I don't think it's set by default, but you can click on this button right over here. And this little hamburger, I think it looks like a hamburger. Yeah, it's some kind of hamburger. But click on the hamburger button and you'll get this extra row here. So what you can do is you can change it to yellow, and I will also change it to bold, and that will change everything. So this is the second line, okay? So that's all cool. The other thing in here that I wanted to show you was, you can do icon positions, things like that. Oh, it wasn't even in here. So what we'll do is we'll save that. And maybe I want to have another, something missing here. I want to have a little heading or something. So what we'll do is we'll come in here and we'll put another text editor in there. And we will say, this is the important stuff. And we will center it. We will change the style. We will make the color maybe even some kind of yellow. Yeah, I like white. You can change it to whatever you want. We'll make the font Oswald again. And we'll make the, let's say, let's say medium, and we'll go size 30 again. And we'll also do save. Now here again, it's a little too spaced out. So what I'd want to do is I'd want to come into advanced on the text editor, and I'll get rid of the bottom padding or the bottom margin. And I will also get rid of the top margin on this next module. And top 0. And then I can save. Now, one of the cool things about this is that you can go into responsive mode, very simple. See what it looks like on an iPad or a tablet or your phone. So you can hit the R button, and the R button will actually bring you into this. So that's what it would look like on a tablet. As you see, my padding's a little screwed up there. So I can come in here to the DropFunnels Pro list item again, and right now it's taking the margin from what I had in the larger version of this. It always there's a hierarchy involved, so it always takes that setting from the top. So if there are different settings all the way down, you do have to come in and change them one by one. So in the left margin, what I'll do is I'll do like 200. That was pretty close. 250. Okay, we'll do 250. And we will save that. So that's good in tablet mode. Okay, that's what it would look like. If you don't want this, this large white area here, all you have to do is take out the equalize row height, column heights. So I can edit column height, and I can go column settings. And if you see here, I did set the equalize on style, set equalize height, and I will say no. Now this is going to be across the board, okay? So the across the board means that every single one of them is going to have should have the same setting there. So let's see, we'll save that. This one here, I guess I kind of take out a little bit of that padding there. Advanced, and I will go, the bottom is going to be 0. As you see, it pulls it up. Because again, these say 0, but they're coming, like we're in tablet mode here, so they're coming from the large screen desktop, laptop, settings. So you got to make sure you come in here and just, brush it up a little. None of my fonts look out of whack as far as size is concerned, so I'm not really worried about that. So therefore, what I'll do is I'll go into cell phone mode. Responsive is not perfect, as you'll see, but it's pretty close. So doesn't look bad at all. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll change the, as you see, if it goes on to 2 lines, there's kind of a huge space in there. That space is designated by the style font line height. So we're going to change the line height to like 1.2, 1.1, 1.2. 1.2 is probably good. And then our size, we can probably make that a little smaller, but not that small. 30. I guess we're going to leave it at 30. I say we leave it at 40 to tell you the truth. Yeah, that looks decent. So from there, I do want a little bit of distance between this and the video. So what I'll do is I'll come to the column settings on this column, which this column consists of all this gray stuff. So what we want to do is I want to do column settings here, and we'll go column settings. And here we will go into advanced. And from here we can set our margin at the top to, let's say, 20. 20 looks decent. Maybe even a little more. See what a little more looks like. Let's say 20. So we got a 20 at the top. Now we also, see our padding down here is going to be off too. So the other thing I was seeing was, maybe not have these rounded edges on the video as well as this box. So what I can do is I can come into style, and down in borders, you'll see that this little icon here determines where you stand as far as responsiveness. So this is on cell phone. What I can do is I can come in here, and anything you set in here is going to be only for the cell phone. That's the only place it's going to show up. Okay, so I'm going to link my values, and I'm going to say 0. So now it's nice and square against the edges, and I'm going to do the same thing with the video column up here, because I don't like the way that looks on a mobile. So we can go down to the radius and shadow. We can link, and we can say 0. And then it's nice and squared off. Okay. What I could actually do is maybe even, do in my padding, I'll show you at the top of this, my padding, that's what gave us this border around the edge. What I could do is I could even change it to make it a little smaller. So let's go like 5. Maybe I made it margins inside the video. Nope. I made it margins inside the video. So margins inside the video is all good. And what we'll do is I will say, instead of, I think it was 10 that we put in, so let's do like 5 and see what happens, or even 3. Maybe 3 is good. Now you see it's like a little bigger. It's still kind of in the box. It's a little better looking for me anyway. So I can save that. We also want to adjust the padding on this list box so that it shows up correctly. So we had a left-hand margin padding, and we'll change that margin to probably about 20, maybe a little more than that. And again, this is all depending on what you have in those lines in order to make it look right. So this is just because I have so little text that I'm putting in a 40 or 50 here. 50. Okay, that looks pretty decent. Maybe even 70. 60. And you kind of want to make it centered in there, but that's exactly how to do it. So the last thing to do is I'm going to come out of responsive mode, and we're going to just go change up the actual box over here, the opt-in. So the opt-in, if it comes up, there we go. So the opt-in, as you see, has, subscribe button, name field, email address, phone field. So in here I have general. I choose my service. My service is normally Aweber. So what you would do is select Aweber. You'd choose your account. You would then go through and select the list that you want things to go on, as well as the tag if you wanted to do that. With other integrations, I don't know exactly what questions they ask you or what options are available because I've only used Aweber. So let's see here. What we also want to do here is there is various layouts you can do. There's stacked and sideways, but there's various options in here to do a lot of stuff. The email field we definitely need. The name field we definitely want. The phone field, I can turn off the phone field. I just want to do opt-in and email. So that's all good. And we want to change the style on the button. So let's change the style on the button, and we're going to say, get this now. And we will say an icon. We can put a button on, an icon on the button. So let's put a little key, something like that. All right, that's cool. Let's see here. And we can select where the icon goes. The button style, as we see, we need to be on our button. So the button topography is on the button tab right here. And we're going to select Oswald for that. We will go blink. We're going to go maybe a medium. Yeah, that's good. And then maybe 30. 30 is good. Now, something I've gotten to the habit of doing is just putting like a 1.1 line height. What it does is it more or less centers the text up and down on the actual button. So, it's just something that I do. It's a little uncentered right now because it does have an icon in it. But that's as best as you can do with, let's see, 1.2. Yeah. I think it's because of that icon that's there. It's just a little too high. But I'll put in a 1.1. That looks like a pretty decent sized button. And then we can go ahead and select we don't want to do anything with button text colors or button text hover colors. It makes it kind of weird. What happens is when you mouse over the button, you will get your background change, and then when you mouse over the text, you'll get another change. It's just kind of weird to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus just on the background colors here, and we're going to make this a nice green again. I thought that green was somewhere around here. That's pretty close. Again, I'm not using my presets like I should. I should be doing that for you. And then what we'll do is we'll make it that green, but a little lighter, maybe like that, so that it's like really in your face when you mouse over it. You can select the button background style, which is gradient or not, and the gradient looks pretty cool, so let's leave the gradient. And there's also the background button animation. The button background animation is simply, it just kind of pauses but slows the effect down. So when you mouse over it, it kind of like makes a nice, like, it brings it in really nice. So you can add that or not. We will enable it. And there's also a button border. I don't really see a need for a button border here. And I do see a need for radiuses. So what we'll do is we'll change the radius to 10 because that's what we've been doing on everything else. And that is that. So we will save that. Oh, I gotta go into my general. I do not want to select Aweber. I'm not going to put this into one of my lists. So we'll save that. And there is a simple opt-in form built for you in I don't even know how many minutes, but that's it. There's a couple good tips in there as far as, you know, a border around a video, you know, kind of getting into the habit of the color thing, using text boxes as your headlines. The other thing I wanted to mention about the headlines is that when you do use a heading, the text editor as a heading, what you want to do is you want to come in here and say heading 1. Okay. Heading 1 will put the meta tag in it for the heading. So it will actually call it a heading in HTML. So therefore, SEO wise, you'll get recognized as a heading. And then you can have heading 2, like, you know, my subheading here would be heading 2. Maybe this would be, or this down here would be heading 3. But that's exactly how you want to do that. You want to do that inside the text editor. I forgot to mention that before. So that's it. That's exactly how to lay out a page. You can then go ahead here and let's go save. Oh, actually, I might want to change this in responsive form. Responsive. So let's go to button and we will go down here to styles and the typography. We're going to switch this. If you click on this little button here, you'll also get the, see, changes into the responsive mode. So I'm going to click on that again. All right, here's my, and actually that's a great size. So what I'll do is I'll leave it like that and I will hit done and publish. And here comes our page. And that's beautiful. That's a 2-column opt-in form and with a bunch of little tips thrown in. So anyhow, thank you very much for watching and I hope you got something out of it. Please keep up to date with my subscribe to this channel and all that good stuff. What I'll do is I'll build onto this site, this actual page. I'll save this page off, and what we'll do is we'll build onto it. If you guys got any questions or want to see something else built, what we can do is we can come in here and go ahead and do that. The next video, what I'm going to show you is adding a new row, as well as doing different colors in the background on these types of little info boxes here. So there is a way to do that, and I will show you that. It's more of nesting columns. So I will talk to you all soon, and enjoy.